Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond a Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 on Prismatic Anomaly with Sashkorin and SlicklikeVik. Playing in blue here, we see a very interesting looking commander with a Halloween head on, who keeps trying to turn away to hide from us. Very spooky. And as we zoom out to look at the map, this is obviously Prismatic Anomaly. Both players choosing to start on the far left-hand side of the map, in our orientation at least. And as we look at the map, you can see lots of mountainous areas or pyramids, and these are going to block radar well across the map and make it harder for you to see where your opponent is coming from. Now, looking very quickly at this back line, you can see that there are several triple metal points. This is the start box, so you can choose to be anywhere along here, and both players are going to have to scout these locations in order to find where each opponent is. Now, going vehicles here, the blue player, that's probably a good choice due to how flat the map is, and a lot of people are treating Prismatic Anomaly as basically a new version of Comet Catcher due to the flatness of the terrain. Now, the opponent here, also in red, also starting in the exact same point here, going Cortex vehicles as well, I believe. They will have to start expanding down this way, and the problem with their start positions is that contesting the complete opposite side of the map will prove difficult, and getting these far free metal points here for both players is going to be difficult to maintain control of, so we don't probably expect them to hold it for too long. It's just so far to get units to defend, or cons if they get caught expanding, so they'll probably die. And as we just zoom out, we can see that not much else really of note on the map. There are the big huge black dips here, craters rather, that will cause unit pathing problems. So you may be able to maneuver around these positions to try and force your opponent into a fight. But you could do the same thing with the pyramids as well. Whoever gets control of, between the two players, whoever gets control of this section here, though, will be important, because if you're able to block down this section here, this is the closest part between the two players, so it's going to be pretty important. Now, as the first units of scouts move out, let's move back to the normal camera and continue with the cast. So here we are on the normal camera, and the scouts are making their way out. Let's just do a little bit of a roll there. SlicklikeVik at the bottom, Sashkorin at the top in blue. Now SlicklikeVik is moving his commander, surprisingly not straight up, but realistically he doesn't know where his opponent is, so this does also make sense. Now, radar coverage is going to be very important in this, and as SlicklikeVik is just about to spot blue units coming into his radar vision, he may have to change his plan here for his commander. Now, there is a slight gap here where this scout could get past, but realistically it's going to be difficult for Sash to deal with that. And we're already with an incisor out that will stop any further scouting. However, this does give Sashkorin a pretty good indication that his opponent is in this corner. With the fact that there is a commander here, an LLT, which he would have seen, it's pretty obvious that he's here. Now, what you can actually see Sashkorin doing here is spreading out a bunch of scouts. He's probably going to keep some basically here. That is to try and catch any expanding constructors, with the attempt to, if they're expanding on their own with no support, pick up a constructor, which means SlicklikeVik will have to accompany its constructors with a couple of incisors to be able to keep them safe. Whereas right now we can see that this guy just here is got no support. There is support coming now, but if this was a larger force of rascals rather than a single one, he may have been able to catch that expanding constructor, and with this rascal will now drive straight into an LLT and get massively exploded. And we can see now, once we select Sashkorin, you can just slowly see units appearing. He knows how, where his opponent is at all times now, due to his scout positioning. He will look to try and attack here if he's paying attention, but it doesn't look like he is. And Sash will lose his ability there to take out that constructor. But he knows where his opponent is pushing, and that is important information. Both players, though, continuing to pressure into the center here instead of pushing towards each other. This is due to the larger amount of metal extractors. However, if Slick did push this way, he could have been up to here with his commander. Now, that's a strong point, but also a potentially dangerous point, because if his commander is here fighting on this front, you could potentially get flanked, and then your commander is trapped in this area. He can technically fall back down to here, but it's very easy to get forces in a line behind the commander, causing some problems. So, although it would be good to be this far forward to pressure your opponent, I can see why they've chosen not to do it. And this constructor here has actually planned to just build a massive wall between him and SlicklikeVik, trying to completely shut down any Tech 1 harass in that direction, forcing them towards the center where the commander is, and is slowly building up LLTs in that position. Now, as we quickly look at either base, obviously on this map there is zero wind, so it's entirely solar based. So you may ask, why so much vehicles then? And the answer is just due to the fact that the map is quite metal rich. A lot of metal points to be had. But also, obviously, with going bots, that means you need more energy production, because bots cost more energy. And then on top of that, you're using more metal on your solar production. So I can see why both players have chosen to go vehicles here. The speed is quite key due to the size of the map. Maybe we'll see a player choose to build a proxy lab of bots just to get res bots out, but I don't see it being any main force from either of the players here. More likely to see air cons coming out to try and capture land quickly. You can actually see that, you can see how long it's taken for this guy here to just start expanding. We're 6 minutes in and he still hasn't finished the LLT that's defending these 3 metal points. And he's still got to get all the way over to here and then defend it. Maybe push north and try and get some of those. But he really could do with an additional constructor there. Now, both players are Cortex, which does open up the options for the advanced metal extractors that are armed ones. I think they're called the exploiters, if I remember correctly. I think someone's building one here. Yeah, the exploiter. This will help defend the point, and surprisingly, we actually see Sashkorin surrounding his exploiter with walls, which you don't see very often. But a nice raid by, I guess you could call it more harass, from SlicklikeVik here, managing to get 2 metal extractors, a solar, and an LLT for the loss of 2 incisors, I believe that was. Yeah, there. Although he does send an incisor here to just get completely destroyed by the 3 of them. SlicklikeVik just losing units here because he's not paying attention. Map is quite wide, so to try and defend all of it is going to be quite difficult. Neither player, though, really doing any sort of wide attacks right now. No one's sending units round like this. With how big the map is and how spotty radar coverage could be, it could be very useful to send a force really long way round. We'll quickly look at each player's vision here. SlicklikeVik is aware that there is a force making its way around. He doesn't really have forces to deal with that right now. He needs a few more units, or for them to go into LLTs. Also at the bottom, you can see some units here. Just know that they're scouts. You might be able to tell by the speed, but other than that. Whereas Sash is trying to hold this position over here. He doesn't know what this is. You might think they're units or LLTs. He doesn't quite know. But he's got fairly decent radar coverage. Bear in mind, anything that is like hashed, like you can see here with the lines, that is negative vision. So you can see here that the radar tower does not actually provide vision in those areas. And we see both commanders here getting very close to each other. Slick did plan on building an LLT there, but a little too late. Both players now trying to build an LLT up in time. Although they both just don't range each other here, so no one's basically getting that metal point. There is a little bit of reclaim there, which SlicklikeVik may aim to grab, but 30 metal is not the end of the world here, really. And now just doubling down on LLTs. Slick does not want Sashkorin to move like this and then be open to like just pushing down. He wants him to have to force further round, but still at the same time, Slick is not able to block off this path yet. So realistically, it's the same thing, just that this side's a bit more direct. Both players' units, though, positioned on this right-hand flank, which Sash has well and truly secured with an exploiter and an LLT there. Now, there is this path open in the center, and if Slick can amass enough forces, he could sandwich these units and cause quite a substantial amount of damage with flanking. But the question will be, who will transition over to proper tanks first? We see some pounders coming out from Sashkorin here. Now, pounders are obviously a lot slower, but they are made purely to deal with raider units, incisors, pawns, grunts, scouts. But they have to be in position first, in essence. They are a very strong defensive unit. Their speed makes them pretty rubbish in an offensive capacity. Whereas we see over the other side, vehicle plant from SlicklikeVik, just more and more incisors coming out. And on the way to 4 con turrets. The wall was attempted to be interrupted there, but it will get finished as Slick does not go back in on that constructor. He has his own constructor there, which surprisingly he's moving into the center, building some con turrets over here. I wonder if he plans an additional factory. Meanwhile, there were some raiding units sent around the top, or sent around the left-hand side flank with an attempt to get some damage dealt there. But unfortunately, it's a little too late as Sashkorin now well and truly has radar coverage on pretty much the entirety of, well, 3/4 of the map. Exploiter now trying to do its work. A self-D would be very useful right back now, but it does not get it pulled off, and the incisors are now in a very strong position to keep moving. We see SlicklikeVik splitting up some of his incisors here with the attempt to sandwich these blue incisors from Sash. Oh, it looks like he's changed his mind. And Slick did not continue his push with his units. And these incisors will get a lot further than predicted. This could have also been a choice on Slick's side, wanting to get the metal closer to his base in a better position to secure it, because no actual economy was destroyed with the exception of, you know, this exploiter up here. And at the same time, we see 500, 700 worth of metal now laying in SlicklikeVik's terrain. However, saying that, at the same time, we see those 5 incisors did manage to get 2 metal extractors in the far back line of Sashkorin here. pounder, solo pounder, not enough really to stop these incisors. And as brutes start coming out as well, SlicklikeVik, they will make short work of LLTs and exploiters if there's enough of them. Slick able to pick up that construction vehicle as well. The frontline construction vehicle is good value. Meanwhile though, Slick is losing ground in the center here. The Wolves actually did a pretty decent job at surviving, making that metal extractor survive for quite a considerable amount longer. I've seen a bit of a resurgence in wool usage. But the biggest thing to worry about is this tank push on the right here. Slick does have plenty of forces to defend this. But he looks like he may lose his own con here as well, because he's not really paying attention. Focusing the extractor though. Now the constructor died. That's trying to run his forces away. And to be honest, I don't know if Slick has the right mix of units here to deal with this. He just doesn't have enough. And there's a mixture of damage going across like multiple units here. If he maybe focused fire on an individual target, it may work out more on him, but that's more of a micro attack. At the same time, he did defend the attack in the center for now. We have 1.6k metal on that right hand side, 1.4k on, sorry, 1.4k on the right, 1.6 in the center. You can see pond turrets planned here, and another factory by Sash on this far right hand side in a very strong position. If that factory does go down, he's going to be able to apply great pressure to SlicklikeVik's base. And with all of his vehicle production now in the center, the forces defending this bottom side is not really that much. But Sash's comm makes a bit of a dangerous move there as he gets pretty close to the tank forces of Slick. Now at 40% health, D-guns have to go out in order to try and defend. To be honest with you, Slick probably has the forces here to push. He is not really willing to go on it though, it seems. If he doesn't defend, he would lose this section here, I think. The shurikens are doing a good job at turning the tide. It's a matter of time until some air comes up and just deal with these shurikens. You have to get as much value as you can, as quick as possible from them. And he desperately needs something here to reclaim. Now up to 2.6k metal, 2.7k metal over this side. And the vehicle factory potentially under threat. AA turrets have now started coming online. Shurikens will not be able to provide any more value on that point. And also a Resbot lab going down as well. To be honest, I think most of this reclaim over here is going to end up going to Sash here. Meanwhile, Sash's commander, if he keeps it alive at least, Sash's commander down to 25% health. Slick should really just continue this. He has a good opportunity here to push in and kill Sash's commander, instead backing off due to the threat of the right hand side. And now with Resbots coming out, he needs to get this reclaim very quickly. As soon as these con turrets go down, it's going to be really difficult to push into this section. And just look at the stream of tanks coming out of the base of Sashkorin. As this section goes on here, longer and longer, Slick is losing more and more control. Look at the economy differences as well. Metal produced, there's not much in it, about 1,000 metal difference right now, which is equivalent of a couple of tanks. well, 4 tanks. Resbots unable to get that, and as we can see here, Tech 2 now planned from Sashkorin right on this front line. This front line worth of metal is enough to pay for that factory and more. So basically a free Tech 2 factory here while still applying tons of pressure to your opponent. And honestly, that positioning of the factory has not really helped Slick at all. He's lost control of this right-hand flank. At the same time, he did gain a bit of control to the left, but he is in dire problems now. His commander has no supporting units. Is Slick even aware that a Tech 2 factory is there? No. An army value is going quite far in the way of Sash. 36% difference. Plenty of shurikens coming out here, but he's got nothing really to follow up on it just yet. This is proving to be a big problem point. Oh, he's now aware there's Tech 2 there. Due to the narrowness of these lanes, it makes it hard for vehicles to push into them, just due to the fact that obviously tanks leave Requiem that just blocks movement of other units. A lot of twin guard LLTs been positioned right outside this factory. That's a lot of metal that's been invested into those as well. 200 each. Each one of those is the equivalent of a tank. And right now, what Slick needs is units. Throwing all the shurikens in he can, but as you can see, these brute wrecks just blocking the path, making it really difficult for all of SlicklikeVik's forces to come to bear. Trying to get to that Tech 2 factory to kill it, but Azar has just rolled off the production line, and that signals the end of SlicklikeVik's push. Not only that, but he's now just given his opponent another 2k, 3k worth of metal, and SlicklikeVik really needs either Tech 2 of his own or some other play, and we can see him reclaiming as much as he can into Tech 2 as quick as he can, but he did not have that big stockpile of reclaim that he could eat up. Not only that, he is struggling for just units right now. Eating both factories in order to get Tech 2. So the resbots he's got are the only resbots that are left. He needs to keep them alive. And will he, as he gets them very close to getting killed? Ooh, 6% health. This is just a really bad position for Slick. He is pretty much locked down on this left-hand side. Nothing really to worry about. All of the fighting is taking place on the right with a third Tsar now in production. He is trying to go for a Tsar steal here. We have 2 air transports and shurikens. The plan is get in EMP Azar and then go pick it up. Now, even if the transports get killed with the Tsar in the air, he does then manage to just get the Tsar killed for the cost of the heavy transport. Both Tsars have been EMP'd, stopping their movement. One Tsar grabbed, and another Tsar grabbed. Plenty of fighters. The question will be, will SlicklikeVik be able to capture them? I don't think he will. One Tsar goes down, another Tsar goes down, but still, for the cost of 2 air transports, SlicklikeVik has managed to kill 2 Tsars, and that has swung the army value now back into the favor of SlicklikeVik. However, this push is proving to be very dangerous for him. He's had to reclaim the air lab, chuck down a Tech 1 vehicle, and just try and get units out. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. And SlicklikeVik may end up losing all of his energy production here. Not even LLTs being built here. He does have a constructor. it might be worth trying to chuck down some defenses. But no, this is a lot of tanks, and this is going to be a lot of metal destroyed. Too late now for the twin guards to go down. Oh, he does manage to get one of them up. But a pretty significant base wipe here. SlicklikeVik already struggling for energy, losing his entire energy production. 3 advanced solars already gone. Most of his Tech 1 solars soon to follow. Twin guards now also struggling to even fire due to a lack of energy. And to be honest with you, this to me seems like this would be a GG moment. Advanced solars are proving to be somewhat enough, but he has no units, and the units that he's chosen to build are so slow. He's also not even continuing to go with them. He's not going to kill these, and now these tanks are just going to keep moving. Instead, we see Zava Tsar action. Only Zars. Oh, but that one Tsar is proving to be pretty low health, even with construction turret support here. Dealing with the AA and the con turrets here, but the idea is to slow down production of new vehicles. Shurikens, though, able to just completely nullify that fury within seconds. The Tiger is still alive. It does manage to get the build power, but does not manage to secure the factory. Fair play here to Slick, not giving up. He has no energy production whatsoever. He's trying to build into a fusion, which would solve his energy issues, but with a lack of energy to begin with, might prove a bit fruitless. If he can position this pounder, shame. I was going to say, if he can position this pounder like here, the Tsar might just friendly fire the factory instead. Shurikens are doing a tremendous job here, though. And Sash is just able to just roam free with this Tsar, slowly whittling down stuff as the Shurikens just come along and EMP anything tries to stop it. What's he gonna do? He's moving a con. Click just looks like he's a bit out of ideas, to be honest with you. Too many shurikens for him to deal with, and at the same time, we see Sashkorin has actually rebuilt his Tech 2 factory at the back now in a lot stronger of a position. Also, on top of that, he has built a fusion, and whilst we've been talking, he's also air transporting construction turrets to the front line in order to get this massive 5k worth of reclaim, and also to get this factory back up and running again. And those units that were not killed have managed to get an additional 4 or 5 metal extractors whilst they've been making their way across. Realistically, they could get a lot more value as well by getting these extra metal extractors. But Slick just does not have the forces really to be able to deal with this. He has built a Zara himself. Will that even get out? Yes, okay. Don't know if Zars are necessarily the right choice here. I mean, I know why he doesn't want to go Banishers. Like, he doesn't want to get Banishers because he doesn't want to waste a Banisher shot on, like, a Shuriken. And then have to wait forever. But Banishers do outrange Zars. Banishers with a... Zars with a range of 650. Banishers with a range of 800. But obviously Zars can tank quite a few shots, so there is that. The other option as well is that Slick could just push straight to the base of Sash. He's obviously aware of where that base is. And he's building Pounders here in an attempt to deal with what he expects to be not tick spam, grunt spam, incisive spam, scout spam, anything like that to try and deal with the Tsar. But instead, there isn't any. So it's not really providing great value here. It did field some shots so that his Tsar could apply more damage, but your opponent has Tsars, Tigers, AA, or Shurikens rather. Shurikens have now been dealt with though. Those 3 Furies were enough. Banishers now also make an appearance on the field. He needs to just keep them at long distance and they will be enough. But SlicklikeVik, realizing he's in such a terrible position, calls the GG there. 9k metal behind is quite a lot to come back to. He did lose pretty much every reclaim field that happened. So, fair play to him. He tried his best. Was not able to pull off a win versus one of the top few players in the game. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.